Hello, everybody. Hello, Blaze. Proper greeting to you this time. Um, Welcome to the stream. I'm here with more midweek magic, except the midweek magic is never up by Tuesday, which is annoying because Tuesday is when I manage to get free time to stream. If I ever get Wednesdays free to stream, then I can stream the midweek magic properly. But that's beside the point. I'm back in Magic Arena. I've stockpiled a few packs. I've got a couple of quests to do, blue and white spells and creature spells, so blue-white flyers decks. There's a couple of different draft formats open, Duskmorn and the quick draft for Wild Spell Drain. So we could probably do one of those. We've got some stuff stockpiled up. And we've got Brawl as a backup, always and forever. They might still have some Jumpstart up, I'm not sure about that one. But I will start off by saying I was trying something a little bit different at the start of this stream. I mentioned it in the chat for anyone who was reading. I started off with, normally I end up starting my stream and I literally go live with this screen and me being like, I can't talk a moment because I've got to put in all of the post all my links and things so that people know that I'm streaming. And I thought it would be better if that part was more hidden. So I could sit and post all my links before, because I often end up sitting like for 5 minutes beforehand, having set everything up and just sitting there being like, don't know what to do now for the couple of minutes. And then because of that, I end up sitting for a couple of minutes, and then also having the first couple of minutes of my stream where I could be doing this and explaining what on earth I'm doing, posting links. And so I thought I would overlap that, the other side of the 2 o'clock mark, rather than this side, and then spend the same amount of time just sitting here explaining my reasoning behind it. But yeah, so I will probably be doing that from now on. So officially going live before 2 o'clock, but I won't actually start streaming until 2 o'clock. So if there's anything I need to do in whatever game I'm playing beforehand, I might fiddle with that before 2 o'clock, or I would throw up the break screen and have music playing, so that if people come to my channel, they can see that my stream is live and is going. I could also make a little note on my break screen to say, going live at 2 o'clock. Or going live, and then I can change the number when needed. For future, I can definitely work on that, because I put up a little text thing when I go on break to say when I'll be back anyway, so it's literally just changing that. But yeah, so we're having another little magic session. I did do the break screen art myself. I'm not 100% happy with it, but I did it, and it's there, and it is a break screen that functions. At some point in the future, I will probably make a different one. Hopefully, when I get an actual, like, more rigid structure to, basically when I get a new job. If at any point I get a new job, I could then make a more rigid structure to my streaming schedule, and then I can put all that information on a new break screen and do new art and things for that. So for the time being, that is the break screen that we have. It's kind of a placeholder, but we can work on it. I do intend to do art streams at some point, so I could probably do some artwork for a potential break stream update in one of those. I do have a couple of ideas for a couple of pieces. I need a new profile picture on my various social medias, for instance, because currently I'm just using the default standing art of my model, which I would like something a bit more graphic-y for those. That still represents me, but is different, so that it's not just all the same piece of art. And then a couple of bits to sort out on my actual Twitch itself. So there's definitely a lot of potential for Twitch for art streams. I just need to figure out a good way to make it work, and I have a couple of ideas, so I may well try one next week whenever I know when I'll be streaming next week. But we do also have the Final Fantasy XIV Valentine's Day event coming up next week. And annoyingly, it comes up Monday next week, right after I stream this Sunday playing Final Fantasy XIV. So we might be a bit late to that one on the stream side of things, because I may well be doing that the Sunday after. Again, if I get Sunday free. But the sort of weekend Final Fantasy stream that we end up doing will likely be doing the Final Fantasy XIV Valentine's Day event and then moving into more ARR story. Post-campaign story, I should say. But yeah, we will jump straight in and find out what this announcement is. There is just a weekly announcement. If you want info, you can go on the website. Okay. And then what's the store update? Probably new. Ooh. Slow loading time there. Did I break it? Am I running too much on my computer? Oh, no, there we go. We're okay. Yes, they got a new update for the store. A couple of the Merds of Karlov Manor. Detective file alt art frames and artwork. Which there are some beautiful ones in there. Very cool artwork on those. Mole God. Ooh, you've done the artwork. Very nice. But we will start with cracking packs. So I've got 3 packs of Foundation, 1 Duskmorn and 1 Bloomburrow. So a little collection of 5. So we can go through them one at a time. We've got a bunch of cards we've seen before, even if I don't recognise them all. Apparently I have an Arbiter of Woe somewhere in my collection. And the mythic or rare is a wild card. Not so exciting. But we also got the rare wild card for opening a pack. I did just spend a bunch of wild cards making a food deck. Making an altered version of my Goose food deck, in which it runs Golgari colours and the cat that cares about food and makes all your creatures into food. Or makes all of everyone's creatures into food. Pack opening! So, a lot of similar cards we've seen before, and an Essence Scatter, which is a pretty standard counterspell for modern Magic. It's the uncommon slot, so it's nice. It's a good one. Normally common counterspells cost 3 rather than 2, so it's a slight upgrade, although it can only counter creature spells, which, in all honesty, in 90% of Magic games, they're going to be playing a creature. I'd say 99% of Magic games they will be playing a creature, but that's not technically true, because I know there are certain archetypes that just don't run any. So then we've got a Zul Astro Lich Lord. 1 and a black for a 2 power, 2 toughness, legendary creature, zombie warlock. It has ward, pay 2 life, and you can tap it to cast a zombie creature card from your graveyard this turn. Which notably, because it is casting the zombie from your graveyard, it can be counterspelled. And you still have to pay mana for it, I believe. Unless I literally just read the words that you don't pay mana for it, in which case ignore what I just said. Again, a lot of common ones. We've opened a lot of Foundation at this point, so I would be surprised if we get any commons that we haven't seen before. But the uncommon slots might have new things in. And we do always get new rares, like this Ravnica monster. Originally printed in the Ravnica block. Consuming Aberration, used to win standard games. 3 blue black for a star. And what that means is its power and toughness is dictated and changes throughout the game. And it is dictated by something written in the rules text. In this instance, its power and toughness are each equal to the number of cards in your opponent's graveyard. It is also a horror creature. And whenever you cast a spell, each opponent reveals cards from the top of their library until they reveal a land card, and then puts every card they just revealed into their graveyard. So sometimes you just hit 1, you just hit a land off the top. Sometimes you can get like 20, 30 cards off a single player. And in the Commander format, the format that I play a lot, where you are often playing with 4 players, you're hitting 3 people down to their top land. So this can very easily come out, you cast like a 1-drop spell following it, and mill everybody like a combined total of like 45 cards, which when this then was already like a 10-10 at worst, becoming a 55-55 for 5, for 6 effectively, is very strong. It is a very good card. It doesn't have any kind of evasion itself, but there are ways to give it evasion quite effectively in blue and in black. Mostly in blue. So it is a very good card. We'll then go to the Duskmourn pack. We have a Rip Chain Razorkin for 3 and a red. It is 5 power, 3 toughness, human berserker. It has reach, which means it can block creatures with flying. And for 2 and a red and sacrifice a land, you draw a card. So quite nice card draw in mono red when you really need it. I mean, I say quite nice. At common, it's nice. At any other rarity, you'd probably rather take something like Grab the Prize, where you discard a card to draw 2 cards with additional upside. But yeah, it's also a 5/3 with reach, which is not a bad creature to have for 4 mana. It's pretty standardized in that red creatures tend to have more power than toughness, and if you balance those out, it would be a 4/4 for 4 with a keyword, which is just a decent creature. So to have the extra ability of sacrificing a land to draw a card is nice. Oh, and then speaking of red cards, we have Chainsaw. It really surprised me when often it really surprises me. Not so much for Chainsaw, that at this far into Magic the Gathering's history, given that it is a card game that has existed for 32 years at this point. Is it 32 years? No. Yeah, 32 years now. Going on to 33. You can get a single word card name that has not been used before for a mechanically unique card that's just a real object. That would be like calling something rat and it not being a card already. Obviously they can't do just rat, but because rat tokens, and then it would be like destroy all rats. And you'd be like, well, is this a rat? It's called rat. Often a card named rat will be a rat, because the reason I said rat was because it was right here with innocuous rat. But yeah, so having just a card with a single word title that is a real word object often surprises me. Like something called Pickaxe came out like 2 sets ago. So a 31-year-old game about fantasy that has dwarves in it has never used Pickaxe as a card. And it confused me greatly. It was incredible. Is there a jar or a pot card? There are specific themed jars and pots, but I don't think there are any cards that are just called jar or pot. So for instance, there's cards like Memory Jar, where it puts your hand to the side and then you draw a new hand, and then you can recall the cards from the Exiled collection as if they're your memories that you stick in the jar, and then you can pull them back at some point by breaking the jar open. But yes, Chainsaw, 1 and a red. Artifact equipment, it equips for 3. When it enters, it deals 3 damage to up to 1 target creature, so it is a lightning bolt that costs 1 more, but then it also has all the other stuff. So whenever 1 or more creatures die, you put a rev counter on Chainsaw, so it helps put a rev counter on itself by dealing 3 damage to a creature, which you will normally play to kill something. So it will then get itself at least one rev counter. And the equipped creature gets plus X plus 0, where X is the number of rev counters on Chainsaw. So this was quite funny because they introduced rev counters just for this card. And it was quite funny because they were there like... Before sets happen, we often get a list from Mark Rosewater, where he does like a little Tumblr post about these are the things you can expect in the upcoming set. So for instance, how I already knew that Aether Drift would have a cycle of dual colour Gear Hulks was because it was one of the things noted. And things like Shark Pirate as a creature type were already in that list. But Rev Counter, he often likes to put in, these are the types of counters that will be in the set. If there's one that will make people go, hang on a second, what on earth's that going to be for? So Rev Counters, people were like, well, what's a Rev Counter going to be? And then obviously, as we learned more and people kind of put two and two together of, it's a House of Horrors 90s horror-themed set. So of course, what do you rev in a 90s horror movie? You rev your chainsaw. Often the killer will have a chainsaw or an axe, most likely, but chainsaw would be the most likely thing for a rev counter to be on. And it's quite funny that it's just specifically for this card. So we might get some more rev counters at some point in the future, but they were created for chainsaw. It is a really cool... They do have some great ideas for sets. And a lot of these ones, like the 90s themed... 90s horror movie themed haunted house. A lot of people looked at, or a lot of Magic players looked at it and went, this doesn't fit in with Magic. It doesn't make any sense. Why would you have this? But then as it got closer to set release, they flavoured every card in the set to be what's like, there's a collection of nightmare creatures that are the fears of things, so like fear of lost teeth. And like the rooms are enchantments that have two parts, and you unlock doors to go to the other rooms. And like the actual flavour of the set itself is it is a plane of the multiverse that a demon took hold of, and slowly the house that the demon controlled spread through the entire plane until the entire plane is the house. And so it is just all a haunted house. And it's quite cool. But yeah, a lot of players were like, I don't want to see this sort of stuff in my Magic games. This doesn't make any sense for Magic. And they've done the same with a lot of things through history of Magics. So at this point, I just kind of ignore them. Like, there's certain points where I did agree with them, but then as time's gone on, I'm a bit like, I don't care anymore. Like Universes Beyond, which is Magic's or Wizards of the Coast taking other people's IPs and getting a contract with them to include their world in Magic, or as Magic cards. So like we got Transformers, we got Godzilla, we got... we've had some of the Marvel stuff, but we are getting more Marvel stuff. There is a whole year of Marvel stuff coming up, apparently. Final Fantasy is getting some things. We've had Doctor Who, Warhammer 40,000, Fallout, Assassin's Creed. I'm trying to think if there's any I've missed. Stranger Things, Walking Dead. I think that's all of them. I think I mentioned them all. I think that's all of them. But yeah, we've had a bunch of different... it's all happened in the last couple of years. So the first one was the Walking Dead cards, which they originally released as a secret lair, which is a thing that Magic does where they produce a premium product that you can only buy from the secret lair website. And they've made iterations to how you go about purchasing them and how limited a product they are. But at the time, I want to say that there were only so many of these secret lairs printed, and they all included unique Walking Dead cards that were mechanically unique, and some of them were very powerful. to the point where everyone wanted it. Everyone who wasn't like, oh, Walking Dead, that's no. Even a lot of those people were like, but Rick Grimes is a really powerful card and he works really well in Modern. I need him. So while I hate the fact that Walking Dead is in the game, I need the Rick Grimes card, because if I don't have it, I will have to play against it. If I play against it without it, I will lose. So it was very much everyone scrambled to get it. It ran out super fast. And then loads of people were like, well, it's ridiculous that you've printed cards that are mechanically unique, that aren't in Magic's story, that we can never get again, that are winning tournaments. So it made Magic the Gathering a pay-to-win game, which, guess what? It's a trading card game. It already is pay-to-win. Obviously, you can negate some of it by just being more enfranchised with the game and being better at playing the game, like spotting lines of play better, can often beat a beginner who just doesn't have the knowledge behind it, but has the money to put into, I've built the best deck. I looked up what is the best deck, I built it, I put it together, but I do not know how to play it. Will often be beaten by someone who's like, well, I've built a deck that I've built with the cards that I can get, and I know how to pilot it because I've played the game for 30 odd years. But yeah, it's a trading card game. If you're not paying money into a trading card game, the trading card game isn't working, and the whole trading economy revolves around a power shift between different cards. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to trade one card for two cards, because every card would be worth the same, and you'd just be trading one card for one card. And you may as well just write on the front what the card is at that point. Part of the interest of a trading card game is the ability to trade different value cards for different value cards that you want, that make your decks work. So yeah, I was on board with I don't like the Walking Dead stuff because of how they've printed it, and that they've made mechanically unique cards that are winning tournaments that not everyone has access to because they're so limited. Over time, they've changed how the secret layers work. They've also introduced a thing called Universes Within, where they print all of the not full set Universes Beyond cards into their own in Magic Universe cards. So mechanically the same, but have different characters on the front, on the face of them. So like Rick Grimes was a 2/2 white, 2 white, 3/4 human, I want to say, that gave all your humans +2/+2, and 2 keywords of your choice between like Vigilance, Lifelink, First Strike, or something else. I can't remember what it is. Like Trample or something. But it was basically you just go, cool, all my creatures have Vigilance, Lifelink, and +2/+2. For 4 mana, also this creature's an absolute house on its own. So my entire team becomes massive, I swing with no repercussion, and gain loads of life. You now can't kill me, I win the game, basically. For just going, we've hit turn 4, play 4-drop, turn sideways, except not really because they're all vigilant. But yeah, it was too versatile a card. But then they've made a Universes Within version, which they kind of, it's still limited. They made them like special slots within packs of a set, which is how they've done some of the secret layers themselves. Yes, exactly. Normal humans from The Walking Dead can be stronger than giant monsters. Like, Rick Grimes beats this human berserker. You could also give Rick Grimes a chainsaw. There's funny things you can do. Like, this is where I've turned around on it, because it's just, at this point they've made so much of it, and they've made it accessible enough for the most part that people who want to play it can play it. People who don't want to play it can opt out of games where it's there, because it's like, okay, you don't like Marvel stuff? Don't go to the Spider-Man pre-release. Don't play against Commander decks that are playing Spider-Man cards. You therefore don't have Spider-Man in your Magic the Gathering. It doesn't seem like much of a problem. Worst case scenario, you're playing like Arena, and I don't even know if the Final Fantasy stuff is going to come to Arena and the Marvel stuff's going to come to Arena. But worst case scenario, you're playing Arena and someone plays a Final Fantasy Brawl deck against your Brawl deck, and you go, okay, concede. They get a free win, but you don't lose anything for losing. You've just spent time loading into a game and then conceding, which you would do the same if you drew a hand with no land and then mulliganed into a hand with no land. You'd probably concede anyway. So it's not a huge loss. I could rant about this for a while. So that's an etiquette thing of so Commander, the format that I play, which is the format that most people play, I feel. People are starting to get back into Standard, but Commander was the big thing for a lot of years. It's 4-player pods, and obviously you go down to your local game store or wherever you're playing, and you get your play group together. So either it'll just be other people who go to the same store, or it'll be a regular play group that you meet up with. If one of your play group went, I really like Marvel, can I play the Spider-Man cards? It would then be at that point that you can turn around and go, I really don't want Universes Beyond in my Magic games. And you can come to some consensus of they really want to play a Marvel deck and want to play the Magic Spider-Man cards, but you don't want to battle against them all the time. So maybe they do build the deck, but then you build a deck, or they play it once every session. So that you don't see it so often, but they still get to enjoy the cards that they want. And most of the time, in your friend group, if you're good friends, you'll make that kind of leeway of like, yes, you don't want to see it every game, but is it okay if I play this? And then when it comes to playing the deck, they'll go, is it cool if I play my Spider-Man deck for the next game? In which case you can then go, oh, but I was going to play this. Or you can go, yeah, sure, I'll play this other deck that I don't really care as much about going up against Spider-Man. I don't know. And when you go down to your local game store, it'll be random people, and there is the etiquette of a rule 0, where you sit down at a pod and everyone goes, what kind of decks are we playing? What kind of game do we want to play? Because at the end of the day, Magic the Gathering is a community. It is a communal game that we come down and we sit and we play together. And so if you are sitting down in a pod and there is no rule 0, you should ask people stuff before the game, especially if you're one of these people who doesn't want to see certain things. So like, if there were no rule 0, 4 people could sit down at a table. One person could be playing a pre-constructed deck from the box that's one of the Warhammer 40k decks. One person could hate Universes Beyond and be playing their CEDH top tier, full of rares and mythics and super powerful cards and combos and whatever, that wins on like turn 2. Someone could be playing Commander for the first time and have just like thrown together 100 cards with a random legendary that they like the look of, that they had in their collection from like the last 2 pre-releases. These are all issues that will come up if you don't have a rule 0. Like if you don't know the people you're playing against and you don't sit down and have a rule 0 discussion, the game will just not be as fun. Just full stop, will not be as fun, because you will come up with issues where it will be like, okay, the 3 of us wanted to play a nice casual game and we've all brought our homebrew, goofy, silly decks. Like I've brought my book tribal deck and I've bought whatever green commons I could throw together from my collection. And I've brought this legend from 30 years ago that's really bad, but I've tried to make it work with some silly combo thing. And then someone else goes, oh, well, I've built my turn 2 win deck, and I've won on turn 2 because no one else is playing anywhere near the power level that I am and could not stop me. That's then just like, okay, that was a waste of time. The three of us who are playing our silly decks will all just shuffle up and play these again. Could you not play that again? That's then a rule 0 conversation of your next game that you could have had like 5-10 minutes ago and avoided that whole situation. So if you're one of these players that doesn't like Universes Beyond, you can have this discussion before the game. I went very off topic there. Yeah. But they're making universes within cards that are versions of. So the Walking Dead ones were all then set on Innistrad, which is a gothic horror set. Yeah. But then Yu-Gi-Oh! Doesn't have a format like Commander, as far as I'm aware. Like in Yu-Gi-Oh! It's just, are you playing one of the latest decks? Otherwise, you lose. And Yu-Gi-Oh! Is all formatted like Standard, where it's etiquette. I don't even know if I can spell it. Let's have a look. Etiquette. Is it that? I think it's that. Etiquette. Something like that. I know it's 2 T's instead of a D, but I don't know what the rest of the word is. I could be wrong in the second half. But yeah, as far as I'm aware, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is like, do they have rotations of like, you can only play, if you're playing in a store, you can only play the latest few sets of cards? Or is it just you can play any cards, but everything past a certain, so many sets back just loses and is just bad? I've never played Yu-Gi-Oh! I own some Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards, I've never played the game. I've also watched the anime, but I've never played the game. So yeah, I don't know whether Yu-Gi-Oh! Is more like Standard, where old sets rotate out, either by you're not allowed to play them, or they are just so bad there is no point playing them. And therefore it's then more like Vintage, where you can play any cards, but the way Yu-Gi-Oh! Is set up is that it just constantly power creeps upwards. And so there's never a level of like, oh, well, I want to play this goofy deck from 7 years ago, because you'll just lose. You'll just sit there for 2 minutes losing and just being like, well, that was pointless. No point keeping this deck. Build something else. Whereas Commander, you can play any cards from history that aren't the specific set of banned cards from Commander format, just because they were not designed for a game where you start with 4 players and 40 life. Cards like Biorhythm, where it's just everyone's life total becomes equal to the number of creatures they control, so you can board wipe everyone else, play a creature, and win the game immediately. Which is not great. It's not a great feeling. You can play anything but power creep isn't that big, and because there's a lot of interplay, a lot of old decks that fall off get more support and new cards that work in tandem with old cards. Okay, so yeah, it's more like Vintage, where you can play any cards from the history of the game, and there's sort of certain decks that kind of take prevalence of like, this is the best deck, and then this new thing comes out and is the best deck, and then this new thing comes out and it takes it. So there's a constant like rotation of what decks are the best decks. There's a few formats in Magic where that's the case. And that's it. In 1v1, a lot of the rule 0 isn't needed, because there's no element of, oh, well, I'm playing the game because I want to do this specific thing. You're both playing the game to win the game as efficiently as you can. Whereas in Commander, you can build some silly stuff where you're like my book deck, for instance. It doesn't want to win the game. It has very few ways to actually win. Like, there are 2 cards that can potentially win the game. What I want to do is just play a lot of books and show off my collection of cards with books in the artwork to my opponents so that they can have a good laugh about the fact that I'm just sitting in my library reading a pile of books. It's not a good deck, but it's funny, and I play it because it's fun for my opponents, and other people get to find it funny. Commander has more of that vibe, where it's like, yes, you can build the top tier deck and you could win games all day long, but that's what we call CEDH, which is competitive Elder Dragon Highlander or competitive Commander. And those are the decks where it's like, I win on turn 1 or 2, and if you don't interact with me, I win. But that's where the whole CEDH format is a lot of very fast interaction. And so the first 2 turns of the game, someone will win. The result will be that someone has won the game in those first 2 turns. But those first 2 turns will be so much interaction, so much actual gameplay happening that yes, the game's quicker, but you all feel like you've had a proper go at winning. Whereas Commander itself is like ideal if the game goes to like 6 or 7 turns of just everyone having fun and cracking jokes and being silly. Oh, sorry. I needed to drink there. My throat was getting incredibly dry and I didn't want to cough. But I might have to anyway. Ooh. Nope, I think we're okay. But yeah, Commander itself is a much more casual format that is oriented around a group of people having a fun time. So that's where if someone doesn't want to see a certain thing in their games, they bring that up before the game so that anyone who was going to do that, if they still want to play in that group, like if you sit down at a group and they're all like, oh, we're playing silver bordered cards. Silver border, for reference, are like joke sets where there's a bunch of stuff that can't really be made in Magic because it doesn't work with the rules, but they bend the rules a bit to be like, it's funny, so it's fine. Like there's a card where you pick it up and balance it on your head, and as soon as it falls off your head, it is destroyed. There's like cards where, what are some of the other funny ones? You and another person, or no, I will say a different one. You play a card, and in the next 8 seconds, you have to go and get as many high fives as possible, and the card then rewards you for the number of high fives you had. So that sort of stuff. I play Magic IRL once a week. So I play D&D on Thursdays, and we often play Magic before D&D. Sometimes I manage to get out to play Magic other times, but not really. But yeah, so that's the sort of thing that silver border decks include. And you might sit down at a pod, a group of 3 people in your LGS. You might sit down and go, are you guys playing Commander? Do you mind if I join in? You sit down, they're all like, oh, by the way, we're all playing silver border decks. Is that okay with you? We haven't got anything disgusting. They're all just silly decks. Because there are some silver border cards that are just broken. Like if you played it in a regular game and you actually tried to optimize it, it would just be a CEDH deck at that point. I believe the high five card, I don't know what the high five card's actually called. Hang on, I'm going to quickly look it up. See if I can find it and then bring the card image over. MTG, is it just called high five? It's called Give Me 5. We'll just quickly, whoop. There you go. So the artwork is an octopus with a big foam hand and loads of other foam hands and a little cap on, and it costs 1 white, and it's an instant, and you gain 1 life for each person who high fives you in the next 30 seconds. Each player in an ungame who high fives you also gains 1 life. So this was from the set called Unstable, which they did a pre-release for. So at a pre-release, you'll have it's like a mini tournament that you have. Everyone comes along and pays some money to get their packs. They then open their packs, build a deck, and all play games simultaneously. So at the unstable pre-release, you would have people going, I cast Gimme 5, and then jumping up from their table, running around the room going, high five, high five, high five, high five, high five, high five, just trying to get everyone to high five them. And if you knew what the card did, of course you'd take gaining 1 life. Like just in the middle of your game, just being like, oh yeah, thanks, 1 life helps. It's not huge, it's not game breaking, so your opponent's not going to be like, oh, you high five them, but you didn't get around the table to high five me. But you're, and also the reminder text of offer high fives, don't hit people. It's just like, you've got to offer them a high five, you don't just walk up and slap their hand. But yeah, so that's what the general gist of silver bordered decks. Silver bordered cards are goofy, silly things. Click back into this. But yeah, so you might sit down at a pod and they might all turn around and go, we're playing silver bordered decks, it's nothing broken, we haven't got CDH level stuff. But are you okay with that? And obviously if you're fine with having a game with some silly joke cards where someone might like have to search their library in 10 seconds or jump up and start high-fiving people or balance a card on their head or play another game underneath the table or this sort of stuff, all of this is included in Magic history, then you'll probably sit down and go, yeah, that sounds really fun, I'm okay with that, I'll pick one of my weaker decks so that we can just all enjoy being goofy and silly. And maybe you also have a silver bordered deck. But you probably don't bring that to your LGS when you're playing just Commander, unless you've literally got like a silver bordered deck, a regular deck, and a powerful deck. So you probably sit down, you either play one of your sillier decks that you're not like, I'm going to try and win on turn 3 or 4. Or your CEDH deck where you're like, I'm going to win on turn 2 and there's nothing that anyone can do about it. Unless, of course, you're that person who's like, oh yeah, I'm fine with you guys playing silver border cards, sits down with your CEDH deck, wins turn 2 and no one else gets to have fun. We do occasionally get those players. We do not like those players. But yeah, and most of the time, like, you could sit down at a pod and they're all like, we're playing CEDH, do you have a deck that's that good? In which case you'll either be like, oh, not really. Is it okay if I join anyway? Or, oh, not really. Could we play a bit of a weaker game? But if they're all playing CDH, it's often quicker and better for general group friendship of going, oh, I don't have a CDH deck, but can I sit and watch your guys' CDH game? Because it will probably take like 5-10 minutes. And then afterwards we can play a not CDH game if you guys have regular power level decks. And then you get a group that way. But then that's when you would have your Rule 0 stuff. It's when you sit down, you introduce yourself, you're like, hi, this is my name, what kind of decks are we playing? It's just an etiquette thing of like, you get to know people before you start the game, and you get to know what kind of game everyone wants to have. Otherwise you'll have situations where you'll all just hate each other at the end and you'll be like, well, I sat down to make some friends who also enjoy the game that I enjoy, and instead found 3 people I will never talk to again and I will actively avoid because we all hate each other now. And that's not fun. Nobody wants that. So, Rule 0 is important. That was the outcome of that entire 40-minute spiel that I did. I don't remember where that started. Bloomborough. We'll crack open our Bloomborough pack and move on to something more light-hearted. Oh, we got a lovely Baker's Bane duo. It's a squirrel raccoon. Look at them. They want that pie so bad. For 1 and a green, they are 2 power, 2 toughness, squirrel raccoon. When they enter, you create a food token. They'll get that pie. And whenever you expend 4, they get +1/+1 until end of turn. Expend 4 is, as you can see there, when you spend the 4th total mana to cast spells. Specifically casting spells and not activating abilities, so like paying the 2 to tap and sacrifice this food does not count towards your 4 for expend 4. But expend was the raccoon mechanic for Bloomburrow. Yeah, I was talking about universes beyond, and then universes within, I think is what they call their in-universe stuff. But yeah, there's a lot of cool universes beyond stuff. I think I started talking about that because I was talking about people. No, was I talking about people rule zeroing beforehand? I don't know. The whole conversation went very circular. I could have gone back into talking about universes beyond. Ooh, Squirrel Tutor. The horror cards? Yeah, talking about set themes and why people don't like them. I think that's where that started. But yeah, that's just sort of stuff that when you're playing Commander, you have a rule zero to talk about. So if you're there like, I don't like this stuff, then you can go, I don't like this stuff. Can I make sure no one's playing it? And then if someone goes, well, I'm playing it, and then someone else goes, well, I'm playing it, that's your cue to be like, do I hate it so much that I would rather leave this table because clearly these people want to play it? Or maybe their only option is to play it. Maybe they don't have a second deck. Or do I just get over the fact that I don't like these types of cards and just play the game anyway with people that I might get along with? So it's sort of a self-fulfilling, if you're full of hate, you should probably remove yourself from the card game. And if you're not and you stay in the card game, or if you are and you stay in the card game, no one will want to play with you. And if you're not, then get over yourself. They're going to do silly things. It's Magic the Gathering. A squirrel is stronger than a human token. But yeah, Thornbolt Forager. 1 and a green for 2 power, 2 toughness. Squirrel Ranger. That's why he's stronger than a human token. He's a ranger. Tap to add a green, or tap to forage, which is you exile 3 cards from your graveyard, or sacrifice a food token. It's actually just sacrifice a food, not a food token. There are a couple of not token foods. Or 3 and green and tap. Search your... Oh, sorry. Tap and forage adds 2 mana of any combination of colours. Or 3 and a green and tap. Search your library for a squirrel card, reveal it and put it into your hand. So this can search for your Baker's Bane duo as a squirrel. It can search for your 3-tree mascot, because as a... I think it can. It might not be able to, actually. I don't think you can search for changelings, because while they are every creature type, that's when they're on the battlefield, not while they're in your deck. So you couldn't shoot for the 3-tree mascot. Forget I said that part. You can shoot for your Baker's Bane duo, though. The lovely, hungry little people. Oh, yeah. Okay. So speaking of horror cards, we may as well go into the Duskmourn Limited, although sign up ends in 1 minute. What comes up in a minute? What is happening in 1 minute? Or is that 1 hour? It might be 1 hour. It makes more sense for it to be 1 hour and 11 minutes. We've got 1 hour and 11 minutes. We can do a Duskmourn draft. I also have 1 draft token and enough gems to play a Duskmourn draft. So we want white-blue. That was what our quest was. So we want to try and force Eerie investigations. So let's hop into the draft, which immediately fired. Apparently everyone wants to play Spooky House set. Let's go Spooky House. Let's force white-blue. Eerie, here we go. Eerie, Eerie, Eerie. Eerie, Eerie, here we go. Yeah. We get to see some... Waiting for the last person to ready up. The entire table waiting for the last person to join. There we go. And it does shuffle them, so that's not necessarily that person at the bottom that was making everyone wait. Okay. Well, our rare is not in white-blue, but we do have either blue-black, which is Eerie, or white-red that cares about artifacts. That's whenever another creature... Yeah, I think we go with the Skull Snap. Skull Snap Nuisance. Insect Skeleton, blue and a black for a 1/4 with flying. And Eerie, whenever an enchantment you control enters, and whenever you fully unlock a room, surveil 1. So we want to try and get the Eerie stuff. So here I am in the draft table. I am being passed to by Illuminati, who is being passed to by Don Bon Doby. These names are great. Who's being passed to by MLove555, who's being passed to by Sweaty Neckbeard. Glad I'm sat at the opposite end of the table to Sweaty Neckbeard. Who's being passed to by Anatha. We've also got our pack. So Fear of Infinity would stick us in the blue-black deck pretty solidly. Alternatively, if we were trying to go blue-white and just kind of splash black for this Skull Nuisance, I could take the Lionheart Glimmer, that's very good, both of which are enchantments. I think we do want the blue-white, because we are trying to force blue-white. I did say we were trying to force blue-white. Oh no! If we are splashing black and going Esper Eerie, then Victor is very good. Because whenever an enchantment you control enters and whenever you fully unlock a room, you surveil 2. For the first time this ability is resolved. If it's the second time it's resolved, each opponent discards a card. If it's the third time, you put a creature card from your graveyard onto the battlefield. Given that the only other options in the pack are an Underwater Tunnel, which is common, or a Fear of Lost Teeth, that's also common, I'm going to go with Victor. We've got a white enchantment. It's a piece of removal trapped in the screen. That's probably the pick. 2 and a white enchantment, ward 2. When trapped in the screen, enters, exile target artifact, creature, or enchantment opponent controls until it leaves. That's probably pretty great. We'll stick with that. We've got not a lot in the way of enchantments. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. You gain 3 life. I think Emerge from the Cocoon might just be the choice. Bit of recursion in case we lose Victor. We've got an Eerie creature, the 3/3 defender for 2. We've got some fixing. We might want the fixing. We'll pick the fixing for now. Yeah, we've been given another pack. We'll just take the fixing. There's not a lot here. We've got an Enter the Enigma, blue, sorcery, target creature can't be blocked this turn, draw a card. That's probably the best choice, unless we wanted to go more solidly into black, but I think I want black to be our splash, given that our quest is to do white-blue. So we'll take the Enter the Enigma. This is our first pack comeback round, of which we've got a Bear Trap or a Don't Make a Sound. I think we'll grab a Don't Make the Sound, but I don't like it being in our main deck at the moment, because hopefully we'll get enough cards to make a 40-card deck. Also, we'll just... okay, never mind. I was trying to make Victor our deck art style. So Glimmerlight isn't an enchantment, but when it enters, you make an enchantment creature. So it can trigger Eerie. It is colourless, so it doesn't really care that we're in 3 colours, which is nice. It doesn't help us fix our colours, but triggers Eerie. Can pump our creatures, kind of. None of these are useful for us. I think we'll just take the uncommon and stick it in the sideboard. No worries, please. You will just miss out on me spieling draft stuff. The shark has island cycling, so potential fixing if we end up being a splash for blue instead of a splash for black. If we end up getting more black cards. But I think we want to splash blue instead. None of these are that useful. Just chuck a frantic strength into the grey, into the sideboard. It's the enchantment of the 3. Greenhouse goes in the sideboard. And the spirit goes in the sideboard. Pack 2. Fear of missing out. Oh no, the FOMO. Well, it's in red, which we are not. Alternatively, we have Fear of Imposters, which is nice. You counter target spell, it's control or manifest dread. Or we have a Nowhere to Run, which is a kill spell. It's an enchantment. So I think that's what we go with. Ooh. Now this is interesting. We've either got a second victor, which is pretty nice. We've got a second nowhere to run, which removal is important. But black is our third colour, or it's meant to be. Or we've got an inquisitive glimmer, which is enchantments cost one less, unlocking costs one less. And it's in the colours we want to be in. I can move nowhere to run to the sideboard just so I don't focus too heavily on it. Survival, we're not going to be doing that a huge amount. When you manifest dread, hopefully we're not going to be doing that too much. And then the tunnel surveyor who makes a glimmer when they come in. I think that's what we want. The crab! Eerie, an opponent mills 3 cards. I think that's definitely the choice. There's also some fixing there that hopefully comes back round to us. But we'll find out. Hopefully I've been cutting white-blue enchantments enough that I will now be past white-blue enchantments. This is the sort of stuff we want. We've got another Lionheart in Duskmourn Domination for 6. Enchant creature, you control enchanted creature. Enchanted creature gets -3/-0 and loses all abilities. A Fear of Imposters, which is the counterspell enchantment. Or a Clammy Prowler that makes another creature unblockable. I think we want a Fear of Imposters. Ooh, we've got Unwilling Vessel, who's a very good Eerie card. And they are, whenever enchantment enters, whenever Eerie triggers, you put a possession counter on them. When they die, you get an XX Flying Spirit, where X is the number of counters on it. It's very good. Ooh, Leyline of Transformation. It's an enchantment. You can start with it on the game because it's Leyline. Choose a creature type. Creatures you control are the chosen type in addition to their other types. It doesn't help us in this format. We got Fear of Isolation. It's not bad. Underwater Tunnel. Not bad. We want the Fear of Isolation. We don't have many rooms, but we will hopefully pick up more rooms as we go. Fear of Surveillance is the enchantment in the pack. Whenever it attacks, you surveil 1. It's a 2/2 for 2 with Vigilance. Another Fear of Imposters. So we got 2 counterspells. I don't really like running counterspells. I'm not that kind of player. But they are important removal pieces, I guess. And it's how blue does most of its removal. I would just, if I was playing counterspells, I would rather have it so that my entire deck has flash. So that I don't feel like I've wasted time when I hold up a counterspell and then there's nothing good to counterspell. But I guess it's... No, when it enters counter target spell. I can still cast it when it's not. I've got more of the blue side. I've got 2 Fear of Imposters, a Fear of Isolation, a Scrabbly Skull Crab, an Unwilling Vessel. We also got a Fear of Surveillance. So yeah, we're more focused in the white-blue, splashing the black for Skull Snap and Victor, which is good. Also, most of our deck is 3-drop and below, which means we're quite low to the ground. Well, hopefully, that is a lot of eyes. Yes. Fear of Surveillance. Or are we talking about one of the other ones? Skull Snap also has only 1 eye, but it looks like it should have 5. We've got Fear of Imposters, is a load of mouths. We've got another Nowhere to Run, which, if we're splashing, Fear of Lost Teeth. I prefer having 2 Nowhere to Runs if we are bringing them in for more black cards. I'm going to have Obsessed go, why not? The fixing came back round. I almost didn't take it. I almost goofed. We want that. Clammy Prowler. And Bleeding Woods can go in the sideboard. Pack 3. Oh my god, maybe we're not splashing black as much as I thought. Or maybe we're splashing more black than I thought we were. So our mythic of this pack is Overlord of the Balemerc for 3 black. It is a 5/5 Avatar Horror that when it enters or attacks, you mill 4 cards. Then you may return a non-Avatar creature or Planeswalker from your graveyard to your hand. It also has Impending 5, which means you can cast it as an enchantment. And then within 5 turns it becomes a creature. So you get the ETB on 2. And then it also looks horrific. It's just full of arms. Got an Eerie guy here. Maybe that's... Oh, we got Fear of Imposters. Fear of immobility, sorry. Not imposters, that's the other one. We need more eerie triggers. So I'll drop a stalked researcher in there. The big evil. So this isn't the big evil of the set, but it's in the right colours for it. Got a couple of, are they wolf heads or deer heads at the top? And then an eye in the middle. And then like many rib cages that all of these arms are reaching through. And then just the horrible long-fingered arms. Ew. Trap them in the screen. Ooh, another inquisitive glimmer. Now we like this because our overlord is an enchantment. So if we can get 2 of these down, then our overlord costs 3. Admittedly, it's 2 black, so that's not... Oh my god, another inquisitive glimmer. Awesome, more fixing. The fixing might wheel. What does Sporogenic do? Let's grab another inquisitive glimmer, why not? I probably won't run all 3, but I'll grab another one. If we're creature... Ooh, Leyline of Hope. Another leyline, so it can start with... And if you have at least 7 life more than your starting life total, creatures you control get +2/+2. I don't know if we have... Is this a double leyline pack? Leyline of Hope and Leyline of Resonance. Also, Leyline of Resonance is banned in most formats, which is quite funny. I don't think we have much life gain, as far as I'm aware. Oh, we've got a little bit. We've got a little bit. Hello? Didn't want me to pick the card then. The Tale of Tamio with beautiful art. This one is a saga. It's a legendary saga as well. The first 3 steps are mill 2 cards if 2 cards that share a card type were milled this way, draw a card and repeat the process. That could get rid of a lot of my deck. Exile any number of instant or sorcery cards. We'll take it. It's not great for our deck, but we'll take it. Aha! This is what we want. They are eerie and they gain lifelink, so they'll then trigger the Leyline of Hope better. We've got Fear of Immobility. We've got another Enter the Enigma, I guess. Sorry, I'm holding up all the packs as you can see at the top. Another Fear of Immobility. Another Tunnel Surveyor. We will throw Winter's Intervention into the sideboard. And a Fear of the Dark. The last piece of fixing did not come back round. But that was the draft. We just wait for the last pack to come round from M-Love. I was also passing to Raise, and we had Mage. Undescribed, undescript Mage. Here's our pack coming round. Oh. It's just going to be a land, so it doesn't really matter. Forest. Into the sideboard. So, we're now going to have to make a bunch of cuts. Because although it says 31 out of 40, it then has to add basic lands, which means we're now on 46. So we have to cut 6 cards, which, nice and simple, we can cut the Fear of the Dark. We don't want to splash. We don't want to splash into black too heavily, and we've already got 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 pips in black, which we've got 4 sources of black, so that should be fine. We ended up getting, so that doesn't gain us life. These don't gain us life. That doesn't gain us life. Also, it's target player mills cards, which if I'm doing the Overlord, maybe I self-mill a lot. The Tale of Tamio will self-mill me a lot, I think, because most of my things are both enchantments and creatures, which means I could well go mill 2 cards, draw a card, but they're both enchantments, do it again. They're both enchantments, do it again. They're both enchantments, do it again. And then I'll have like 5 cards in hand and 30 cards in my graveyard and I'll lose. So maybe I cut that. That's a bit too risky for me. While very cute, and it is an enchantment, and it helps us draw cards, it's risky. But we were looking at what gains us life. That's Surveil 1. We've got a Cult Healer who can gain us 3 life because he can gain lifelink. We've got... Not even Victor's triggers gain us life. Wait, Victor also reanimates. Maybe I keep the Tale of Tamio in. Maybe I do want to self-mill myself, because Victor's reanimate, and Overlord of the Baelmerk reanimates. Like, I think I'll still Scrabbling Skullcrab my opponent. That's from returning non-avatar creature or planeswalker card from your graveyard to your hand. It's only to hand. That's not great. This one's to the battlefield. And it's also from a graveyard. I should have grabbed the second Victor. We've got Clammy Prowler, gives us unblockable. So I don't know if we have... We've got Emerge from the Cocoon, and we've got the Cult Healer. And those appear to be our only ways of gaining life. So I don't know if Leyline of Hope actually does anything in this deck. So I'm going to remove it, just because while it is an enchantment and will trigger Eerie, you realistically want this to start on the battlefield, in which case there'll be nothing to Eerie trigger that early in the game. And then it's... I don't have enough lifelink triggers to give all my creatures +2/+2. So it would just be a 4-drop enchantment that doesn't do anything, which we've got 4-drop enchantments that do things, which is just better. Maybe I want to cut something like Fear of Immobilities, because they tap down creatures, but oh no, they put stun counters. Maybe that's alright. I was thinking of checking some Nowhere to Runs, because then I've got some more flash spells for using the Fear of Imposters. But then I'm definitely a bit more heavily in black, which I don't want to be. So I think sticking with the 3 cards that need a black pip is the way to go. For abilities, 4/4 for 5 is an enchantment. The rest of my deck is like down here though. Like that can be played here. That's probably my top end that I actually want. Whenever you attack creature, you can draw it +1/+1. It has Ward 2. And Emerge from the Cocoon being a reanimate thing, as well as Victor, so I can make the most of the Tale of Tameo. What's the last step again? Exile any number of target instant and or sorcery and or Tameo Planeswalker cards from your graveyard. Copy them. You may cast any number of the copies. Well, the instants and sorceries I have are 2 Enter the Enigmas. I have no other instant or sorceries. So this is just mill 2 cards, draw cards. And then at the 4th step, I might make a creature unblockable and draw a card. It's just a card draw mechanic, I guess. I think we'll cut the Fear of Immobilities. And then we need 2 more cuts. I don't like Fear of Imposter. I don't like counter spells, so maybe I cut both of those. And that's then our 40-card deck. We do have 3 Inquisitive Glimmers, so I could potentially chuck something else in. Maybe the Shark as a big top end that also can island cycle. I think we're fine with 3 Inquisitive Glimmers. I got no room cards, notably, so the unlocking costing 1 cheaper does not make a difference, and I will miss out on some Eerie triggers that could have potentially happened, because I got 1 room card and it is in green, which we are not splashing 1 mana fixing card. An entire 4th colour for 1 mana fixing card, not good. But yeah, I think that's our deck. I don't know how well it's going to go. White-blue Eerie is alright. Most of my deck is enchantment, so I should be able to get stuff from it. Like even the ones that aren't come in with an enchantment. Or like specifically have Eerie. Or the Possessed Goat. Maybe I remove the Possessed Goat. It discards a card, and then I reanimate it with Victor. You're alright. You're alright, Possessed Goat. You can stay in. You can be my discard outlet. Even though you can only do it once. You can be my discard outlet for 1 specific card. Yeah. Oh, I did not. Oh, it did it anyway. That's fine. What do we want to name the deck? Eerie, Eerie, Eerie. I wonder if it's Eerie spelt. Eerie is spelt like that. So that is Heerie Eerie. Heerie Eerie. Done. Now let's see if we can get the big gems with Heerie Eerie. This was our free draft token, so any gems is useful, but we want the big gems. Then we get more drafts in. Now hopefully we'll be able to find matches fairly quickly, because we found the draft very quickly. So with any luck, we will get our games in nice and fast. I say with my fingers crossed, knowing full well that we may not get our games in quickly at all. But I built an Eerie deck. We can have fun with it. A kind of pseudo self-milling reanimation Eerie deck. Creaky chair! And my model going super close when my face goes off screen. Or super far away when my face goes off screen. Weird, it randomizes it. Me breaking my own model for reasons. Hooray, match go. Original. That's a very original name. My head's in the way. Their name is original. There you go, you can now see it in the top corner. We got the crab. We got an Eerie trigger. We got another Eerie trigger. We got the life linker. And the mana to play all of them. We don't have the black. But, given that the black is our splash, we should be fine. We have 4 black sources in the deck. And only 3 cards that care about black. So we should, fingers crossed, be fine to rely on the crab and the cult healer. Human Doctor. Thanks, Doctor Who set, for giving us the creature type Doctor. There we go. Okay. The customary greet hello. Oh, there's our black source. Looks like perfect mana. Never didn't have perfect mana. And there's Victor. Oh god. This is going to get out of hand. Let's mill you. Swing for 0. Send a message. Now let's hope they don't block. Oh, good. Vengeful Possession. And Ripchain Razorkin. Gain control type. They're playing the Steel Sacrifice deck, I think. Which is good. But hopefully my creatures will be not... I was going to say, hopefully my creatures will be not useful, and then realised I've got a Victor in hand. Of course my creature's going to be useful. Let's drop Victor. Send a message, swing for 2 again. And then next turn we can Glimmerlight and equip Victor with the Glimmerlight, or equip the Crab with the Glimmerlight, I don't know. Maybe equip Victor with the Glimmerlight. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll have 4 mana. The Surveil 2 is useful. Or maybe we play the Cult Leader, so that we can then use the Glimmerlight to gain some life. That might be better. That might be better. Poke. Poke. Turn these screens back on. There we go. Poke. Oh, poke. Poke. Yeah. Fiddling with the interactive board state while waiting for my opponents to do stuff. Choose 2 target creatures controlled by the same opponent. That player chooses one of those creatures. It deals 5 damage to that creature. The other can't block this turn. You can kill my crab, that's fine. A 4-1? Interesting. What if I have this Cult Leader? I'm not going to swing into a 4-1, that would be silly. I want the second... Actually, no, I want the second black. Because I think we don't have anything with 2 blue. Because we got rid of the fears. First strike. That's not good. That's quite a nice combo. Target creature gets +1/+1 first strike, and then makes this a 5/1 with first strike. Boop. This is an actual player. So you draft in with this kind of draft. You draft with actual players, and then you play with other players. You always play with other players normally. I said that really weirdly. You normally play with other players. We want Clammy Prowler at the top. I should have thrown the planes into my bin. Oh well. Yeah, majority of the time you play with other players. But the way some of the drafts work is you draft with a collection of AIs that just kind of picks as if they were building decks. Normally going on like colour themes. But yeah, from this kind of draft, we draft with real people, but the people we battle against aren't necessarily the people we drafted with, because it just throws you in whatever draft you want. And if you do the draft and then are like, oh, I don't really have time to actually play games, as long as the event is still going, obviously this event only has 1 hour left. Say this was a regular event and it will be on, this event has been up for ages, so that's absolutely fine. The likelihood is it would just be like, you draft, go, oh, I don't have time, I'll come back tomorrow and play my matches. And then you play against whoever is playing at the time. Yeah, there we go. Sacrifice another creature or enchantment. So the plan of their deck is to Vengeful Possession to steal our creatures, and then sacrifice them to the specialist. Giving itself. I see. I'm okay with taking 3 and trading my Glimmer for that 4/1. We got an island. We got a Clammy Prowler. Probably shouldn't have played the island. I could have used my goat. Let's chuck both of those in the bin. We want to draw, not lands. Do I want to attack with the cult leader, knowing full well that they'll probably trade it? They might not trade it, who knows? They will trade it, fair enough. Oh no! Let's chuck that onto Victor. Make him a 4/4. My evil human priest of the demon that runs this place is holding a flashlight, just in case. He's scared of the dark. And then I got a goat that can be possessed by a demon, but currently isn't. Oh, was it the goat that you said had too many eyes? It does have too many eyes. And then Clammy Prowler. A weird little horror. I mean, it's a horror, but it looks like it's meant to be like people's nightmares of like Swamp Thing. What have they got? What are they planning? Oh, they're going to kill my goat. Ooh, Unwilling Vessel. They're going to be annoyed that they just dealt 2 damage to a goat. Attack with both. Make Victor unblockable. If I can get 4 damage in, and they can chomp block my 2/5. Or just take all 7. Or all 6. I'm okay with this. Hopefully we can get some enchantments off the top. I am currently winning. Things might still change. Nice. And now Victor will get another Surveil 2. I can get rid of the land, keep the enchantment on top. Yeah. Victor's good. Even if you only trigger in 1 turn, just fixing the top of your deck is a strong thing. It's why when in pack 2, a second Victor came up, and I was like, he's really good, but if I take a second one, I'm kind of veering more towards the black side of things. And I wanted to keep it a light splash, because if I focus too heavy on it and then don't draw a black card or a black mana, I then can't play some of the cards that I open, that I draw, which means you then have turns where you're not doing anything, which is not good. You always want to be doing something on your turn. What an amazing avatar that is. Ooh, we got the goat. We got 2 Inquisitive Glimmers. And I guess we could chuck a land to make our goat big. It's a plan. We've got mana. We've got goat. It's a fast start, and that's what we want. Ooh, Underwater Tunnel. They surveil 2. And then the Slimy Aquarian as they manifest dread, and then put a counter on it. For 4. Are they going to give us information by chucking cards in the bin? That's the real question. No, they're going to keep them on top. Interesting. Let's drop an Inquisitive Glimmer and then hit them for 1. Because we're the fast deck, we've got to get damage in. Means my Tail of Tameo is cheaper. And now I can do this and this, making my Tail of Tameo a 1-drop. Thanks, Inquisitive Glimmers. They were not the same. Oh, so I only draw the card if they're the same type, which they were not, because it was a creature and a swamp, which is a land. That's kind of sad. Ooh, they've got some own. Also, what the fate? They're also in 3 colours. They're in Teemo colours. Oh, here we go. That was card draw right there. Filled my hand back up. Inquisitive Glimmer. Stalk Researcher. We've got a 3/3 Fractal. At the beginning of your end step, if a land entered the battlefield on your control this turn. Okay, it's legendary. I've never seen the token. Primo the Indivisible. It's a 3/3. Because it, you create a, if you control a prime number of lands, create Primo the Indivisible, a legendary 0/0 green, blue, fractal creature token, then put that many plus counters. And then the reminder text tells you what the prime numbers are. So when they next drop a land, they will make a 5/5 Primo the Indivisible. Oh. My deck is looking very thin. I knew this would be risky. But I got my swamp. I don't know if I can afford to surveil 2 at this point. We'll keep hold of this. We've got a nice amount of mana. So we'll keep hold of this in the hopes that we're going to get into a board stall and I'm going to mill myself at this point. I knew Tail of Tameo was a risky plan, but it looks like it might just kill me. I think we just chuck the goat in the way. They're not really doing anything. Goodbye, goat. Because there's no point trading a bigger creature with it, because then on their turn, i.e. right now, they're going to play a land or not. Or they're not going to play a land. There you go. They're going to search for a land, then they're going to play a land and get a 5/5 Primo. So there was no downside there for them. And they keep the 5/5, obviously. Sure. Yeah, Tail of Tameo, not so great in this deck. It just mills me a bunch. Oh. They killed my Victor. That's bad news for me. Keep that on top. Cast a second Enigma. dear. we're in a bad position because they're just going to board stall and we've only got 9 cards left in our deck. Because I milled 90% of my deck. Did I mill the... I didn't. I do still have the Cocoon card, which I can use to grab one of these back to the battlefield. Probably the Overlord, because then the Overlord will... Oh no, the Overlord will mill me 4 cards. Maybe not the Overlord, because I will just lose the game, because I will enter and mill me 4 cards, and then when I attack with it, I'll mill 4 cards, and have no cards left in my deck. So the attack that I make will have to be the winning attack. And on this board state, it will not be. Maybe I grab the other one that will make all my creatures 1 extra power and toughness, making these 3/4s that will hopefully win out against some of these others. Oh, they punched my bat. Coordinated clobbering. Let's drop this guy, and then drop this, but then make me a glimmer, which will trigger these. You don't understand it. There is a lot going on. I'm in a bad... So my deck has 8 cards that you can see highlighted in yellow down there in the corner. Oh, you can't see. My deck has 8 cards in it. It says behind my little advert things, it now has 7 cards in it. If you go to draw a card and you have no cards in your library, you lose the game. So because the Tale of Tamio put like 30 cards in my bin, I'm just going to lose this game if it goes too long. Which at this rate, it's going too long. So I'm just in not a great spot. Like I've got roughly 7 turns to win this game, or I just lose this game because their deck still has 23 cards in it. And we're both in the state where we're drawing 1 card and playing it pretty much. They do have 2 cards in their hand, but I don't think they're going to do anything with that. I know I'm trading my 3/3 here when they're just going to get another premium. Probably wasn't a smart idea, but oh well. 7/7. If I still had my goat, I could have made it fly by discarding that land. But I threw my goat under the primo, so what are you going to do? I could definitely make myself lose by scrabbling, crabbing myself to mill more cards whenever I draw an enchantment. Oh, okay. This is bad for me. I am in a risky position in which one of my 2 reanimate things is exiled, and the other one will lose me the game. And I've put most of my deck into my graveyard. What did that do? Shuffle enchanted creature. No, they put it back in my deck. My deck has 1 more card in it. Huzzah. Throw that in front of Primo. We'll do a double block here. We'll do a double block here. And then we'll just take 6 from these 2. So one of these includes the glimmers of trading with the thing. Hey look, I top decked the same cult healer. I put the glimmer light back on the cult healer. I'm in the same position I was last turn, but with a lot less creatures. I'm not winning this game. They've got a better board than I have. They've got more deck than I have. 7, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So yeah, if I can... Oh, they've got a combat trick, otherwise they wouldn't be doing this. Oh, bad. Bad. Why is the last few cards in my deck lands? I'm okay with trading those. I'm in such a bad spot. No. Wait, their manifest was a manifest red. Nice. I'm going to try and live as long as I can. Oh, fear of isolation. Sure, I've lost all of my eerie triggers. But I sure can cast spells. Make another chump blocker for the 7/7. I've now got a flyer that can maybe get in for damage, but I'm not winning this race. I'm on a 4-turn clock. In 5 turns, I lose the game. Nope, I killed my flyer. Oh no. Double block that. And then take 3. No. Oh no. Oh. Aha. I return the lion. The lion doesn't actually help me here, that's the problem. Let's return my overlord, I'll just mill my deck. There we go, I gain some life, I mill the last 3 cards in my deck. I put the Tunnel Surveyor back in my hand. I play Tunnel Surveyor, I get another 1/1. And then I lose. Good game. I've got no cards left in my library, so they pass the turn and I will lose. There we go. Okay. Tamio's Tale just lost me a game. Because I milled my entire deck. So that, right there, is the reason to remove it. Because too much of my deck is one type of thing, being enchantments. So while it was really good card draw, it lost me the game. So I take that out. I'll put in Fear of Immobility, because that could have tapped down the 7/7 for a bit. Yeah. Sure. It increases the curve of my deck a little bit, but I've got so many of the glimmers, the Inquisitive Glimmers, that this 5-drop will probably be a 1-drop anyway. It won't, it will never be a 1-drop, but it'll probably be like a 2-drop most of the time. Oh. Okay, so we're on 1 win and 1 loss. So, start of the game versus Nick94. We've got blue. No white mana. And white is the predominant... No, blue is the predominant colour in our deck, I think. But we've got 2 white cards in hand. So really we want the white mana. There's a good chance we draw it. And I can play the Tunnel Surveyor and the Glimmerlight, which will get me plenty of enchantments, but... that's better. We've got the Scrabbly Crab, Occult Healer, and 2 enchantment generators with mana. And we can put Fear of Mobility on the bottom. So we've got a fastish start. Grab. Ooh, we got the goat. Best goat. Not best goat, it's a chump blocker in this deck, but occasionally it can be the best goat. It can become a 4/4. Goat. Army Prowler's nice. They've got a Twitching Doll, and they are in black, blue, and green by the looks of it. See, it turns out, due to these lands being commons, you can just go 3 colours in this format when you draft it. Like, fairly easily, we faced basically all 3 colour decks. No, the first one we faced that we beat was a 2 colour deck. Ooh, Cynical Loner. Can't be blocked by Glimmers. No! At the beginning of your second main phase, if it is tapped, you may search your library for a card and put it into your graveyard. Oh. They punched my crab. And got a trigger to put a thing in their graveyard. The question is, what are they putting in their graveyard? Also good frog sleeves. They put a swamp into their graveyard. Interesting. We want to play the Cult Healer. Next turn we can play this land that will enter tapped. And play the Timely Surveyor that will give lifelink to our healer. And then the turn after we will then have the 4-mana to play the Clammy Prowler. I probably should have left the goat up because they can now attack with their Cynical Loner and not worry about the trade because Cult Healer is too good for me to want to trade it. Relict Attic. You draw 2 cards and lose 2 life. Very cool. A Death Touching 2/2, that's not good. I guess I'm not attacking with my Cult Healer and waiting for Clammy Prowler to be available. Or I could do that, but it won't have lifelink because I played the lands the other way around. Do I want the trade? I'll offer the trade anyway. They'll take it, but I'll gain 3 life, which I think I just need. So that's probably fine. It's probably fine, right? I did just waste my life linking source that I could have made unblockable in multiple ways. Both things in my hand make my thing unblockable. It was also my only Eerie trigger on the board. So maybe I shouldn't have done that. Oh well. I could have spent a turn making it unblockable, hitting with it, then the turn after, playing the 4-mana playing Tunnel Spare, getting it lifelink. No, I would have needed the Clammy Prowler. To make Tunnel Surveyor unblockable. Play my land for turn. Swing for 2. Okay. Now, most of my board state is Glimmer creatures, which cannot block the Cynical Loner. But that's what the goat is for. That goat is going to stop this Cynical Loner from hitting me. Unless they use a removal spell specifically on the goat. Gain 2 life. I mean, I can't kill it unless I trade like most of my board for it and just get stuck with this 1/1 Glimmer. So I guess I take 4 and they gain 2, which is really good. But there we go. Next turn I can block it because I'll have a 2/5. But again, I can't really trade. Oh no. That's all I can say. Oh no. They've got a 7/6 with trample. It's a big lizard. I might die to this big lizard. Of all the things in this set to die to, I suppose it is one of the cycle of big creature with. Of course, they give it Death Touch as well. Well, this is going to be sad, but I cannot afford to let that lizard live because otherwise I do just die. Which means I'm trading all these 4 creatures for that 1 lizard because it's got Death Touch, so it still hits me for 4 and not 1 damage on all of them, which kills them all. I'm in a bad spot now. That's not great. Good game. I drew a land. That only makes another target creature unblockable, so that was that. They can now just kind of freely turn sideways with a bunch of stuff. Like I kill the loner first, probably. Or they make 5 spiders. I'm on 4. Unless I can kill all their creatures with this next spell that I draw, I'm just dead. And I don't not have a board wipe. I got a snappy nuisance. I'll just attack with it because I have a quest to attack with creatures. So I might as well get one more tick on that quest. I'll kill their Fear of Lost Teeth and die. Second loss. It's not good. We came up against some difficult stuff. So maybe I put in the wrong thing. We didn't see it that turn, that game. I mean, we did. We mulliganed it away and put it at the bottom. No, I think we just run it back. We're on 2 losses, 1 win. There's not a great deal I can do about it. If I lose this next game, I lose with not much to show for it, but it was funny. We built an Eerie deck, which was blue and white, so hopefully we will have completed our quests. Maybe. Haven't really attacked with many creatures though. Grist. Rich M. This is a hand that has 2 Eerie creatures and a Fear of Isolation, then bounces one of my Eerie creatures, or an enchantment if I get it, and enough land. So I'm keeping. Just plonking these down at the end. Nice. Another Eerie creature. What I really want is one of my little tunnel people. The one that makes a glimmer when it enters, so I can bounce it with this and get another glimmer. Okay, I'm drawing all my Eerie creatures, which is good. It could be really good. A 3/3 or a 3/3. One can attack, one cannot. The one that can attack can get lifelink if I draw an enchantment. And you'll lock this door, Manifest Dread. Whenever you attack target attacking creature gains double strike until end of turn. Tunnel of Hate is not good. Discard a card, draw a card. They threw the land away with the Manifest Dread. Okay, reanimate. That goes at the end. Me just reorganising my hands so that it's order that I want to play things. Okay, they're in the Boros or white-red little creature guy deck. Little guy deck. Look at this little guy. They discarded a Pyroclasm, which deals 2 damage to each creature, which would kill their creatures and not my creatures. I'm okay with them having a Pyroclasm in their deck. Let's play Unwilling Vessel. In the hopes that I can do... I don't know why I attacked with that. I mean, I got in 1 damage, but now they're going to get 2 damage back with the Gremlin, because I'm not going to waste my Vessel on it. Ooh. Whenever an enchantment, so Eerie gets +2/+0 until end of turn, and when it dies, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. It's a 2/3. Ooh. But that's okay. If I trade my Unwilling Vessel with it, then their 2 damage is just going to have to go to my face, because they won't kill any of my creatures. Or I trapped in the screen, which I could do right now. I think I want to trapped in the screen that though, because that's their better blocker. Yeah. Yes. Trapped in the screen, yes. And then get lifelink, a possession counter, loses defender, surveil 1. I will keep that on top because it's another enchantment. And I will just attack with my 1/4. Because I don't really want to trade the cult leader with the Infernal Phantom. Ooh, Arabella. This was an option of what we could have picked first. She's a 1/3 legendary artifact creature toy. Toy was the creature type made for this set. Probably specifically for her, but there are other toy creatures in the set. Whenever she attacks... Oh, they destroyed my flyer. That's okay. Whenever she attacks, you deal X damage to each opponent and gain X life, where X is the number of creatures you control with power 2 or less, which is all of them. So I could bounce my Fear of Isolation, my Trapped in the Screen, back to my hand, which triggers my Eerie's. And then I can replay the Trapped in the Screen and target Arabella, which I think is my best choice. So you can have your 2/4 back, because I don't want you having this creepy doll. Lifelink. Stuff. No Arabella, please. Thank you. I'll attack with the Stalked Researcher. See what they do. I'm either bouncing off the Hardened Escort or I'm trading with something. And if they block with the Infernal Phantom, then they pick what thing of mine is trading. Probably the Unwilling Vessel, but yeah. And now I have another flying creature. Ooh, Screaming Nemesis. So it's a 3/3 with haste. With when it is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to any other target. If a player is dealt damage this way, they can't gain life for the rest of the game. So I'm trading now. Making a Flying Spirit to replace my other flyer, so that's okay. There we go. Abandoned. Fear of Surveillance. I think I just attack with my Flying Spirit. And then I can emerge the cocoon, my Unwilling Vessel back, I guess. That's a thing I could do. Am I 2/4ing myself? Well, they probably shoot the spirit, right? If I block with the Stalker, they probably shoot with the... Oh god, they're going to double strike. Oh no! I guess I block with the Sphere of Surveillance. And I'm then very scared that this is now just going to have double strike for the rest of the game. Let's play the planes. Let's emerge from the cocoon my Unwilling Vessel. And attack with the Flying Spirit again. Ooh. Toy. Ragged Playmate. Target creature with power 2 or less can't be blocked this turn. Oh god. So they make that not be able to be blocked, but then attack. Well, then they trigger its Eerie, then it attacks, gets double strike. It is just massive. I mean, I can take 8. It's not great, but I can take 8. Oh, Glimmer! Stuff and things. We like stuff and things. Cool, I'm okay with that. I'm still probably okay with that. I knew they were probably going to trade for it. They didn't trade for any others, so I'll get some more damage in. Make the life point swing a bit bigger. When this attacks, I can chump it with the Unwilling Vessel. which then puts 4 powers worth of flying on my board, which would still keep them at a 2-turn clock, which they are already at. Yeah, I have. So this is Mabel, who is a legendary creature from Bloombarrow. And they are my avatar. They're a little folk hero from Bloombarrow. They've got a sword called Cragflame. I also built a brawl deck for them, in which I have mice and equipment. He's nice. Ooh, they're also opting to turn sideways. Giving a creature indestructible. Giving a creature double strike. Yeah, so I kill that. Chump there. Take 5. And I've got another chump blocker. Oh, I can't. I don't have the second black pip to play it from the top, so I guess I just play it this version. Oh, Victor goes back into my hand, obviously. I don't have the black to play him, but he's there. Yeah, hit for 3 in the air. Put them on the 1-turn clock. I've got a chump blocker of my 1/1 Flying Spirit, but I can also chump block with the Stalked Researcher or the Inquisitive Glimmer, depending on what I want to do. Hopefully I draw an enchantment on my next turn, so I can play Victor into the enchantment to get the Eerie trigger to Surveil 2. We've also got this monster that will come in 4 turns. Oh, nice. They've got Surveil stuff and the prop room, or the Dazzling Theatre. That means they can tap their creatures to cast spells to get their survival triggers. What are we picking? What are we going with? Oh, they're giving that double strike. Well, that's okay, because I can kill that, take 6, and chump there. I think that's fine. I only did that. Oh, no, it had 2 power. Right, it had 2 power. So they get to shoot me in the face for 2. That's fine. Good game. Victor, make this Glimmer unblockable. Game us 1 for turn. Attack with the 3 creatures that can attack, but none can be blocked. Put them to -3. So I didn't draw an enchantment, but I drew an unblockable thing and I was winning anyway. So that's fine. We managed to get there. That devil with the double strike was very scary. I did take it once, which I think was the correct choice at the time. It then just got us very close to losing. But we got our second win. So we're at least getting 250 gems out of this. Maybe 1,000 gems if we win our next match. Maybe more if we pull off a weird little winning streak. But I don't think that's going to happen. For some reason, some part of me thinks that I'm not going to do a winning streak, because most of my games where I have won have been very down to the wire. Shionu is my opponent now. This is not a keepable hand. I need blue or black for everything, and I've only got plains. I've got blue and white. I need blue and white. This is fine. I could put plains on the bottom. This is fine. So turn 1 I can play my tap land. Ow. Bad monkey. Do I want an unwilling vessel before playing red queen? That's probably fine. I can block the monkey with this. And now my fear of surveillance costs white. So next turn I can play my unwilling vessel. The turn after I can play the glimmer and the surveil, and I don't know. Other things. Probably. Also stops them getting this survival ability because if they attack with that, I kill it. They put the twitching doll in the bin from the Surveil 1. Ooh, Cult Leader. We played the Vessel. Vessel comes first, Cult Leader second. Maybe we will draw a land and then we can Cult Leader into a Fear of Survival. Or a Cult Leader into the Enigma. Who knows? Or maybe I just enter the Enigma. If I don't draw a land and enter the Enigma, my Unwilling Vessel, to get 3 damage in. And then maybe draw a land. And if I don't draw a land, I can play the Inquisitive Glimmer. If I do draw a land, I can play the Cult Leader. Lines of play. Many various lines of play. That are now a lot less lines of play now that they just shot my Inquisitive Glimmer. Choose target creature you control and target creature you don't control. I mean, this ain't great. Like, I don't want them to get that survival trigger because it's just more mana. Getting hit for 3 isn't great, and this delirium creature is a bit mean. Maybe I just kill the toy, take some damage. Not the best option if I'm honest, but what are you going to do about it? Tricky situation now. I play the Cult Leader, I think, and hit them back for 3 because my creature's vigilant, so it can also block. And they can hit me for 8 if they swing with everything, which, if they leave mana open, they could potentially kill me with. But we'll find out. I didn't draw a land there is the problem. Otherwise I could have done multiple things in my turn. Okay, they're just attacking the Wildfire, which is currently 3 damage. It's going to be 4, maybe more. Do I think it could be 6? Or do I think it could be 10? Probably not. I'll take 3. It was nothing, it was just 3. That's fine. I'm okay with that. Let's play the Glimmer. And then use the leftover mana to enter the Enigma. Draw me a card, maybe a land. Is a land. Nice. 3 mana. I could Fear of Isolation the Inquisitor back to my hand, but I don't think I want to. Get 3 damage in and gain myself that 3 life that they just hit me for. I think we'll sit on that. That's fine. That's fine. Is this when it leaves or when it dies? When it dies. So, note to self, do not Fear of Isolation my Unwilling Vessel, because that would be bad. Eee. Triggering things in circles. Just for Unwilling Vessel, really. I mean, it's going to trade with something. But at that point, might as well. Yeah, trading both. I gain 3 life, I make it 3/3 flyer. I can emerge the Unwilling Vessel again and use the Fear of Surveillance to... Oh, if I draw a land... No, it's if I draw a land, then I can use this. That's fine. I've got a big flying presence and I can use my Stalked Researcher to trade with the Wicker Folk. Oh no. Please don't say it's the... No, it isn't. Okay. I thought it was the same room that gave double strike. Instead it just gives +1/+0 to your attacking creatures. All of them. Whenever you unlock this door, you exile the top 2 cards. So they've got another percussionist and another fight spell. Or shoot spell, I guess. And then they play the monkey. They've got 1 red mana open. They probably play the monkey. Probably. Maybe. Monkey. Not monkey. There's the monkey. I fear no white. They're in 3 colours. Apparently they're in 3 colours. Good to know. My unwilling vessel is back. He's here to make another flyer. You killed my last one. Another plains. No black mana yet, so I do have a couple of dead hits in my deck. Do I just attack with everything? They've got 2 cards in hand and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana open. 0 fear. I mean, absolute fear, but 0 fear. What have you got? Nothing. I think they've just got 2 lands in hand. They now probably don't, but I think they just had 2 lands in hand. Okay. Grasping Longneck. And another Wildfire Wickerfolk. And a land drop. That's a land in hand, that's got to be. Hey, guess what? I've got a swamp. If I attack with that, it trades, which I'm okay with. If I attack with that, it trades, which I'm probably okay. Probably not. I want it to get more triggers. If I attack with that, it just surveils 1 and then dies. Sure. Kind of what it's here for is to surveil. If it ain't surveilling, it ain't doing its job. Chuck that in the bin. I don't really need it. Block there. Kill that. Longneck dies, they gain 2 life. Was that a silly attack? Should I also have attacked with the unwilling vessel? Because then when it would have traded with the wildfire, I would have got them for 2 and then made a 1/1 flyer to replace my other flyer. Maybe I should have attacked with the unwilling vessel as well. Because I can always block with it because it's vigilant. So, probably should have attacked. Just not with the glimmer, because the glimmer would have just died for no reason. They're having a think. No, they can't. That's fine, I get my 1/1 flyer. Attacking with both, it gets +1/+0. I double block. We clear out both of our board states. I'm 4 life up. So as long as I draw spells, then we'll be okay. I just need to, yes, draw spells. Like this giant lion. This giant lion is a spell. I've got the mana to at least play every single one of my cards. So I think we're okay. I guess +1/+0. Do I want to make that trade? They're winning the fight if I don't take it. Not great for me, because my creature was probably a good deal better than their creature. Well, maybe. Oh no. I have almost every land in my deck on the field. hopefully not much left of this lands. I draw a spell though that put 2 bodies down, which is good. Do they have a spell? Turn these screens back on. Light. No spell? Do I hold on to this? Or I attack for 3. Because obviously. Do I rather the 4/4 or the ability to tap down whatever creature they do manage? I think I hold on to it, because then when they play a creature I can tap it and keep it tapped, which will then get me another 7 damage in. Yes. Correct choices. Fear of immobility. Tap that creature and put a stun counter on it. Play my land for turn. Get 3 damage in. Putting them at 6. And then unless they play another creature, they're dead. Because I've got 7. Okay, you've got another creature. Hey Victor. Nice of you to show up. You will be useful. Taking 5 to kill my Tunnel Surveyor. Risky move. And they get to attack back for 4, 5, 6. Come on, Victor, do your job. Yeah, I attack with that because they have to... Oh, I should have just... Oops. If I attacked with everything, they would have died. Put the 2 forward down. You can't attack me anyway, so that's just a 2/2 to block with. Come on, Eerie. Get me. Draw me an enchantment. Enchantment off the top. Let's go. Enchantment. It's an enchantment. Surveil 2. So this will now hopefully help me select enchantments off the top every single turn. Though I do like Scrabbly Crab. So maybe I break my own chain of draws for the crab. Attack with both. They are dead. Good game. That's what I should have done last time. I should have just attacked with all 3 creatures because they only had 2 blockers and 1 life. And given that they were playing a land every single turn, I think they just had land in hand. We were basically in the same boat, where we had no board state and we were both just top decking, but they had a land in hand and I didn't. Okay. Can we get the 1,400? We've been doing alright with this deck, actually. We had a couple of matches where we just didn't draw what we needed. Let's go with that. A couple of matches where we didn't draw what we needed. But most of our games have been pretty solid. Who am I kidding? A couple of the games I've made big misplays. And the rest have been good games where I've kind of been on the fence a lot, but managed to pull victory out. Yes, again, the amazing Elspeth artwork. I mean, that is technically our 3 colours. We cannot play the Skull Nuisance off 1 Dimir coloured land, but we can play the rest of them. We've got the Cult Leader and the Enchantment. Inquisitor. Sure. We can now play the Skullnabber. Which one do we want first? Skullnabber into Cult Leader into Glimmer Prowler. Skullnabbies. Ooh, nice. They're on the Power 2 deck. That order, I think. Jump block. Nice. I'll take that. Their combat trick for my flyer. cult leader. They could now equip the light to the sphere of surveillance and attack. And I'm not taking that trade. If they attack with all their mana open, I'm still not taking that trade. Because the likelihood is they'll have another combat trick. Because the cheap little creatures deck wins by combat tricks. Yeah, I'm not taking the trade. You take your surveil and 3 damage. Keeping their surveils on top both times. Or are they thinking? No, they keep it on top. Ooh. So I think if we do that, we can do this. Does the Eerie trigger into Impending Mister. Which Eerie triggers again, but we've already got the Eerie trigger, so that's fine. Ooh, Glimmerlion. Glimmerlion be good. Next time I can play it. I can do the Abandoned Camp Post and then play it. Again, I don't want to take the trade. The Fear of Surveillance being vigilant is good. It is good. That's why I've got one in this deck. Because I could do what their board state is now. I have both these cards. I just don't have them currently. New Hospital Room. Whenever you attack, put a +1 cost on attacking creature. This Fear of Surveillance is going to get big. I don't have a chump blocker, so I guess I'm taking 4. Maybe I should have double blocked. Either way was bad for me. Or we draw this, and that's probably a really good top deck. That's just what we want, I think. Because the Eerie taps down their blocker, allows me to get in for 5, which gains me 3 life. And then it's still not untapped, so next turn I can get in for more damage. With the Lionheart out. Oh, maybe not. First striking 2/2 has first strike during your turn. Whenever an opponent draws a card, it deals 1 damage to them. Ooh, nice. That's pretty cool. It's a rare. I don't think I've ever seen that card before. Razorkin. I mean, I will have seen it. I've never seen it in person. But it's pretty cool. Do we want Prowler or do we want the... I think we want the Prowler this turn, because then I can keep going with the Cult Leader. Or I can get in with the Cult Leader for another turn. Attack with the team. Double blocking Inquisitive. Nice. I'm obviously killing the Razorkin. And then 2 more turns until my Overlord comes in. And at that point, the Fear of Surveillance will be massive. And way outclass my Overlord. But it can reanimate me a thing, so... My Trapped in the Screen is in my graveyard. I've only just realised that. Trapped in the Screen being my only 1 piece of removal. Makes it bad for me that this thing is their 1 big focus. I'm not blocking like that. Ooh, risky, risky, risky. Can I attack with all 3 of them? Give that unblockable. That will become a 5/5. This will become a 3/6. Oh, they unlocked the surgical suite. Okay. 2-5 with Ward 2. That's lifelink. And then hopefully they'll have to make some bad trades here. Because they'll be taking 4. What have you got? What are you thinking about? Nice. That's fine. I think I still attack with all. Because slightly not so bad trades. But they'll take 7. Or kill the Razorkin again. I'm okay with that. I'll take 3 that gains me 4. How do I deal with this fear of surveillance? It's huge and problematic. It might have to just be the creature that I chump block for the rest of the game, but that requires me to draw cards. And because it's vigilant, I can't both chump block it and swing past it. Nice. Okay. That's a 1-turn chump block. No attacks. Oh right, my Veil Leaf comes in. So now I can double block it. With the Fear of Immobility and the Overlord. Yeah, they're moving the torch back. They want to get a 6-6. It will become a 7-7. And they're probably going to kill the Overlord. Of the 2 options. They've probably got combat tricks in their hand, so I'm going to triple block it instead. Meaning they have the option of the Overlord or the other 2 creatures. Nice. They went for the other 2 creatures, which means I can use my Overlord to reanimate stuff. Puts us in a good position. Whenever the Overlord attacks, we mill 4 cards and then we can bring a card back from our graveyard. No, Norrin Swift Survivor. Attack with the Overlord. Graveyard hand. Victor. Apparently we milled our other reanimate card. They chump. I play Victor. Because Norrin can't block, so they couldn't trade there. Nice! We got a win! Another win in the bank. Welcome, Highway Flowers. I am winning. I had a bit of a risky middle section of that game where they had a huge fear of surveillance. Yeah! I also realised that I said Highway Flowers, which is Highway Flowers is just your name, your username. So, hello, Highway Flowers. That's better. Properly greet you. So we're on 4 wins and 2 losses with our Esper Eerie deck. Can we make it to the 1,600? So you have to get 6 wins to be able to buy another draft. I do have enough saved up that I have enough for another draft anyway. But if we get another one for free by just playing the draft, then that's good. I normally do not have that good luck. Normally my drawing abilities are not good. But we do have a Victor, and Victor can help us surveil away all the bad cards that we don't want to draw at any given time. And the little Skullcrack, all of our black splash is surveil stuff, apparently. We got the Skullcap, we've got the and the Balemerc. The Overlord of Reanimation. Our whole black splash is 3 cards. 2 of them surveil, 2 of them reanimate. Oh no. Maintenance soon. we might have to cut our stream short because there might be maintenance in an hour. Or in like 10 minutes. Well, this is a bad hand. Just much better. I think we put the emerge on the bottom because we won't be doing that for much further in the game. There's the nuisance. Skull snap. We have no black mana, so we can't skull snap yet. I don't know why I played a tap land there, because all of my creatures are 2-drops. I should have played the island and then the tap land afterwards. I guess we're just stalked researching next turn instead. Just put myself back by 1 turn, that's fine. Poke. Next turn we can drop 2 Inquisitive Glimmers. Or we can space them out better. Maybe we will draw a swamp. And then we can skull snap into a glimmer. It was not a swamp. We can pretend. I don't really need the island. I am okay with this trade. I'm fine with that trade, because that just gets bigger. They could probably remove the minus counters. It could probably get bigger. That was the easiest option of trading then. For a goat and an island. Or they do that, and I am then sad. It's a 4/3 with double strike. That's very bad for me. Like, even if I double block it, I just have to race it, I think. Like, it kills whatever I block it with. If I double block it, I have 8. I have 8 toughness worth of stuff. But they start by killing that, and then I only hit it for 2. And then I lose the other one. Yeah, can't even double block it. So I'm taking 8, because there's nothing I can do about it. And they're in red-white, so I'm sure their hand is full of ways to combat, full of combat tricks. So, as expected, I think this is our 3rd loss to this patched plaything. I'm going to attempt to do lots of block. Like, I will quad block this thing. Like, I'm not attacking. I will quad block this thing. And just hope they don't have another emerge from the cocoon. Ah. I will triple block this thing. My blocks just got significantly worse with 1 removal spell. We're going to hope that most of their hand is that all of their hand is lands. And we're going to triple block. And hopefully get rid of it. I do not trust that I will get rid of it, and I probably won't get rid of it. But if I do not block, I am likely dead. And so I'm going to try and kill it. You know, some kind of vain attempt at surviving. In some vain attempt of winning this game. But I think what I've actually just done is cut the game very short. Okay. Okay. We're fine. My 2/5 can chump block this 3/3, that's fine. Oh. Good game. They shoot me for 4, they shoot my creature for 4. They've got a 3/3 and a 6/4. So I chump block the 6/4 and take 3, and now they've got a huge board state and I've got nothing. Let's play this Glimmer. get to survive another turn. I do not get to survive another turn. Oh, fear of burning alive is rough. Especially with haste. Well, that was our 3 losses. Losses. We got 4 wins, 3 losses. So we did a better than average. We got 1,400 gems and 3 packs that we will now crack open. We did complete our daily quests. Ooh, and the replacement was, because that said it was running out, we've got Chromatic Cube Draft and Outlaws of Thunder Junction Limited. And a new store. The problem is there was a little notification saying that there was maintenance going on, and I did not check this beforehand and should have done. So I don't know when the maintenance is going to happen. Yes, we've got a foundation pack. We have got a bunch of stuff we've seen before, and a Kai car that we've also seen before. They are a 2 white blue, 3 power, 4 toughness bird wizard, legendary, so it can be your brawl leader, your commander, basically. For brawl, it has flying. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you choose one. You either exile another target creature you control and return it to the battlefield. So you can build it as like an ETB deck. Or you create a 1/1 white flying spirit, so you can build it as a flyers deck. You could also build it as both, because a lot of cheap flying creatures have enter the battlefield abilities, or enters abilities, I suppose I should start calling them. Pretty good. And we've got our 3 Duskmorn packs. First we have a bunch of new cards. The Goat is always good. Fear of Lost Teeth, we've seen a bunch. Monstrous Emergence, which was that spell they used to kill a bunch of my stuff in one of the matches. The Diversion Specialist, which we saw on the opponent's field against the Rakdos deck that I managed to beat, where their general game plan was steal my creatures and sacrifice them to this. We've got the Derelict Attic, which we also saw in that draft, and Glassworks Shattered Yard, which is an enchantment room. Glassworks is 3 and a red. For when you unlock this door, it deals 4 damage to target creature an opponent controls. And Shattered Yard is 4 and a red, with at the beginning of your upkeep, this room deals 1 damage to each opponent. So it is a burn room. It just does a bunch of damage out to various things. We also have a Shard Mage's Rescue. For a white, it is an enchantment aura with flash. When it enters, the enchanted creature gets hexproof for the turn, and then the creature just gets +1/+1. So it's a good protection spell. In this set specifically, where Eerie is a mechanic, it's a very good protection spell, because normally these would be like instants to give your creature hexproof until end of turn and something else until end of turn. Like, if this was a different set, I could see this being an instant that is target creature gets hexproof until end of turn, put a +1/+1 counter on it. And that's just a really good, for 1 white, that's just a good protection spell. And then we've got the Tutor, Demonic Council, 1 and a black for a sorcery. You search your library for a demon card, reveal it and put it into your hand and then shuffle. But if you have Delirium, which is having 4 or more card types in your graveyard, you just search for any card and put it into your hand and then shuffle. So it's kind of a demonic tutor, which is renowned as a really good card. It costs like somewhere in the range of £80, I think, to get a demonic tutor, because it has not been printed very often. Certain printings of it are £80, I believe. But obviously this one has the stipulation of you need 4 card types in your bin, otherwise you can only tutor a demon card. Which, if you've got like 2 or 3 demons in your deck anyway, then that's still just fine. If you don't have the Delirium, just tutoring for one of your demons that you want is still good. Next pack we've got another Monstrous Emergence, a Found Footage, a Friendly Ghost, an Appendage Amalgam, a common wildcard, a Sawblade Skin Ripper, For 1, a black and a red, you get a 3 power, 2 toughness human assassin. They have menace. And for 2 mana and sacrifice another creature or enchantment, you put a +1/+1 counter on them. And at the beginning of your end step, if you sacrificed one or more permanents, Sawblade Skin Ripper deals that much damage to any target. So this is very much for that deck where you steal your opponent's creatures and sacrifice them all. Or you could have like a bunch of just random cheap creatures that want to die. But this gets in the sacrifice deck. It's very good. Commune with Evil for 2 and a black. It's a sorcery where you look at the top 4 cards of your library, you put 1 of them into your hand and the rest into your graveyard, and you gain 3 life. So this is made more for the Golgari deck, the one that wants Delirium, because you mill 4 cards. Well, you mill 3 cards technically, but 1 of the top 4 goes into your hand, and it also gains you some life, which is nice. We then have Balustrade Worm as our rare 3 green for a 5 power, 5 toughness worm. And if it stopped there, I would be like, okay, that's a decent vanilla card. But this spell can't be countered, which is good. It also has Trample, which would be great, is already a perfectly good card. It also has Haste. So it can just come in, they can't stop it, and then it swings for 5 with Trample. That's really good. It then also has a Delirium ability because it's rare, so obviously it's got to have like 7 different things that it does, or in this case 4 different things that it does. The Delirium ability is 2 green. You return it from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it, only if you have Delirium. So it can come back again. A finality counter is, as you can probably see on screen, if the permanent with a finality counter on it would be put in the graveyard, it is exiled instead. But that is a big, tough worm. Last pack. We've got a bunch of stuff we've seen before. I can't believe that's the first time I've opened the monkey toy there. Raucous Carnival. I almost called it Caravel. Raucous Carnival. Much better. The Boros land at common. Very good. Cautious Survivor. It has a survival ability to gain you life. It's also 4/4 for 4, which is really good at common. It does work in this set. It chomps really well. It can turn sideways, which is good. Or it wants to turn sideways. Appendage Amalgam, which we've had in the last couple of packs. Just a spider with a load of arms underneath it. Horrible. It also kind of looks like a turkey. Like that main body part. Looks like a grey turkey. We've then got Valgavoth's Faithful. A human cleric. Black. 1 power, 1 toughness. And for 3 and a black and sacrifice it, you return another creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Fear of Immobility, which we had in that game, and I didn't fully look at the art. I don't think I've ever fully looked at the art for this. I thought that that was like a hook rack for hanging meat off, that the heads was like floating through. I didn't realise that it was a horse creature that is like vomiting these ghost faces out of its big like Venus flytrap neck mouth thing. But then the ghost faces also have a bunch of antlers coming out of them, which I'm guessing is part of the horse creature, but we cannot see how it connects to the horse creature. So maybe they're antlers that are just held up by the power of these ghost heads that are being vomited by this headless Venus flytrap horse with fire tail and mane. Then we've got the Clockwork Percussionist. For red, it is an artifact creature monkey toy, 1 power, 1 toughness, haste, and when it dies, you exile the top card of your library and you can play it until your next turn. Until the end of your next turn. So you can play it on the turn that this dies, and you can play it on the turn after this dies. Which is good, because if it dies in your opponent's turn, you can still play the card on your next turn. We've then got Cathartic Passing. And our rare slot, is Marvin Murderous Mimic. Colourless legendary artifact creature toy for 2 mana. It is 2 power, 2 toughness, and has all activated abilities of creatures you control that don't have the same name as this creature. I've looked at this several times at making this a commander deck. I already have a colourless commander deck that cares about activated abilities, but it cares about legendary things more so than artifact creatures. Well, this doesn't even care about artifact creatures, this just cares about creatures that have activated abilities. They have to be colourless, obviously, because Marvin is colourless himself. But I might try building that as a brawl deck. Maybe right now. Maybe I'll try building it as a brawl deck right now. I should put chromatic cube though.